Good morning, grade 8. Welcome to our English class. For the checking of attendance, is it a yes or is it a no? Before we proceed with our new topic, let us have a short review. Who among you can still remember about the things that we discussed? Shall we proceed? Who among you can enumerate the 8 parts of speech? Yes, I'm asking the 8 parts of speech. That will be related with our new topic. We are already in MELC number 4. Domain, grammar, learning competency, use emphasis markers for persuasive purposes. What would you expect? In this lesson, you are expected to different verbs, adjectives, and adverbs as persuasive language materials and use them in conveying emotions or reactions to certain issues or standpoints. Please do the learning task. Our topic for today is all about persuasive text. Anybody who knows what persuasive text is? Are you familiar with a graphic organizer? Bubble map? Concept map? Yes. What can you see in the presentation is an example of a concept map, wherein at the center you can see the word persuasive. It is inside the big circle. Then, on the 4 sides or 4 corners, we have 4 small circles. Your task is think of a word synonymous to the word persuasive. What comes to your mind when you hear the word persuasive? A persuasive text is a selection or passage that contains one personal emotion, idea, or response to an issue. It provides one standpoint as to how issues should be addressed. It expresses exposition, argumentation, discussion, review, and evaluation. Exists not only in text but also in pictures. What do we mean by an exposition text? In an expository text, the audience is being persuaded to a particular point of view. This may be persuading someone to act in a certain way or justifying an action. While an argumentative text or essay is a type of essay that presents arguments about both sides of an issue. Those are the differences between persuasive text, argumentative text, and expository text or exposition text. What about the content of persuasive text? A. Statement of position. It is the overview of argumentation revealing one's standpoint. Letter B. Argumentation provides supporting evidences relative to one's standpoint. And letter C. Reinforcement of one's standpoint. It provides the summary of one's position based on the point of argumentation. Grammar and language conventions used. In a persuasive text, the use of grammatical features help in emphasizing one's viewpoint. Commonly, understanding the context of verbs, adjectives, and adverbs aid in strengthening one's position. However, right choice of words still matters. Verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are important in persuasive text in achieving the goal. Let's start with verbs. As you can see in the presentation, they are moving. There is a movement because verbs express action or state of being. As we all know, verb is an action word. Verbs determine the subject as to doer or receiver of an action. It also completes the thought of a sentence. There are four principal parts of a verb: the base form, present participle, past participle. Example: want, wanting, plant, planting, rise, rising, drive, driving, set, set. In the past participle, wanted, wanted, planted, planted, rose, risen, drove, driven, set, set. As you can notice on the first example, we add ing at the base form of the verb in the present participle. There is also an example of no change at all, the word set. In the past participle, as you can notice, some words have no change or no changes. Some change in the spelling. Example, wanted, wanted. Change in spelling, rose, risen. Drove, driven. As you can notice, change in vowels, the A, E, I, O, U, from O to I. Then we also add N at the base form of the verb. There is also what we call the voices of the verbs. The active, which the subject is the doer of the action, while passive, the subject is the receiver of the action. Let us have the sample sentence. Active voice, the students submitted their project to their teacher. As you can notice, we have the students as the doer of the action. While the second one, passive, their project was submitted by the students to their teacher. As you can notice, project became the subject, became the receiver of the action. We also add the word by in passive voice of the verb. Other classification of verbs, regular and irregular. Example of regular verbs, want, wanted, wanted. Jump, jumped, jumped. Pray, prayed, prayed. Irregular verbs, catch, caught, caught. See, saw, seen. Let, let, let. In regular verbs, we just add D at the base form of the verb or ED. While irregular verbs, there is no changes or we need to change the spelling, just like the given example a while ago. There is also what we call the tenses of verbs. It is used to indicate time when an action happened, happens, or will happen. We have the simple tenses and the perfect tenses. Let us have the simple tenses first. The simple present tense tells an action that is repeated or ongoing. The verbs usually end in its simple or base form or the S form. Example, the sun rises in the east. We just add S. The simple past tense tells an action that happened already in the past. Example, Jason visited his family last year. We add ED at the base form of the verb. It happened or he visited last year. The simple future tense tells an action that will happen in the future. The verb is usually preceded by auxiliary verbs shall or will. Example, Nathan will fly to Davao next week. So it will just happen in the following week, specifically next week. So will is added before the main verb or the base form of the verb. We also have the perfect tenses. Let us start with present perfect tense. tells an action that happened in the past and still happening in the present. The main verb, written in its past participle, is preceded by has for singular subjects except I and singular you, and have for plural verbs, including I and singular you. Examples: Jocelyn has worked as social worker in the city. The students have prepared for their presentation. So for the first example, so Jocelyn is our subject, has worked, since the main or the pattern has for singular plus the past participle of the verb, which is worked. The second one, students have prepared, since students are the subjects. We are going to use the plural form of the present perfect tense, have prepared, which is the past participle of the word prepare. Past perfect tense tells an action that happened and ended in the past. Before another action in the past happened, the main verb, written in its past participle, is preceded by had. Unlike the present perfect tense, we use has or have plus past participle. For the past perfect tense, had plus past participle of the verb. Example: I had cooked before he asked me to do so. Had cooked. Cooked is the past participle of the word cook. There is also the word before he asked. That is the event or action ended in the past. For the future perfect tense, tells an action that will happen and end in the future before another action in the future happens. The main verb, written in its past participle, is preceded by will have. Example: by the time I finish this project, I will have eaten more chocolates. Will have eaten. Eaten is the past participle of the word eat. Progressive forms of the simple and perfect tenses are also embodied in verbs. Let's proceed with adjectives. As you can see on the images, it's all about emotions. The sad face, the happy face, confused. Again, what do we mean by adjective? Adjective or adjectives describe or modify a noun or pronoun. We have the various types of adjectives. First, descriptive adjectives tell the quality of a noun or pronoun. Examples: beautiful house, friendly neighbor, adorable husband, handsome man. Proper adjectives provide the derivation of adjectives from proper nouns. Examples: German sausage, Japanese tea, Italian pasta, French fries. For the first type of adjective, descriptive adjective. From the term itself, descriptive, describe. What can you say about the house? It's beautiful. What can you say about neighbor? Friendly. Husband? He's adorable. Man? He's handsome. And it only starts with small letters. For the proper adjectives, derivation from the proper nouns. Just like German sausage from Germany, Japanese tea from Japan, Italian pasta from Italy, French fries from the French or from France. As we can notice, it started with capital letter. Limiting adjectives tell restrictions of words it modifies. Limiting, limit. There is a limitation or restriction. That house, those birds, an apple, the student, this painting, these animals, a chair, my heart, 3 balloons, your car, 5th floor, first lady. So there is a limit. We are pertaining to numbers. Interrogative adjectives are used to ask questions. Examples: whose apple is this? What fruits are we bringing? And then, coordinating adjectives are composed of 2 or more adjectives separated by comma instead of a coordinating conjunction. Examples: long, busy day, cold, wet evening, hot, dry afternoon, funny, talkative teacher. Last but not the least, adverb or adverbs. We have every day, quickly, tomorrow, always. Anyone who can still remember what do we mean by adverb? Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, or another adverb. We have adverbs of time, answer the question when, adverbs of manner, answer the question how, adverbs of place, answer the question where, adverbs of degree, answer the question how much, adverbs of frequency, answer the question how often. Please do the learning task. Thank you. Bye.